Welcome to 180 U-Turn, the show that features some of the greatest conversion stories of our time. Stories of men and women who are on the highway to hell when they encountered a Damascus Road experience that completely turned their lives around. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant. Today we're broadcasting live from Alongside Ministries in Phoenix, Arizona, one of the premier transitional facilities for former felons for drug and alcohol abuse. For more information on their prison outreach, weekly meetings, and special events, just hop out to their website at asmaz.com. That's asmaz.com. And if you want to write me at the show, please feel free. I love your scriptures and your exhortations that you send me. Steve at 180uturn.com. That's Steve at 180youturn.com. We're day 5 talking to Darren Cooney about his story. I mean, this is a heck of a story. Woo! I mean, wow. I mean, just, if you've missed any of these, don't watch this episode. Go to Mondays first. Watch it in succession. You're going to get the big picture and the big intervention of God. I mean, how many times do you hear, if you missed this story, how many times have you heard that God goes to Supermax and speaks to an inmate audibly?
Loud and clear.
Shocker. Okay, so let's talk about your time now. Of course, you have a good, you want to get out of prison, but you're leaving fellowship, right?
Yes.
Real fellowship, and it's sometimes it's bittersweet.
It is. It's a day you look forward to from the day you go in. I only got 9 more years, and as it gets closer, the anxiety builds. You get irritated a lot more, but I do get out. I'm released to Alongside Ministries, and when you're alongside, they give you some curriculum. They give you some different ways to study a Bible.
Place to stay?
Yes, but while I'm inside, I go through this curriculum, and one of the questions they ask me is, what's your definition of a home? And I've destroyed every house I've been in. From my mother, I've always had someone there. My mom, my first wife, the second wife, a roommate. There's always been someone I've been leaned on. So I couldn't answer the question. So fast forward, I get out. My mentor picks me up. That's what Alongside does. Your mentor comes get you.
Now, excuse me. This is the same gentleman that was with you
inside for about 9-10 months.
They pick you out on your out date.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the mentor, they try to match you up, and the guy's a car salesman. And I knew in 90 seconds, just by his dress and some of his verbiage, I was like, "You a car guy?" And I looked at Ken. I'm like, "That's my guy. You're dismissed," because he wants to make sure we click.
Sure.
So he picks me up, and he takes me alongside, and I meet a guy named Dale, who is now my best friend to this day. And he says to me, "Welcome home, brother." Takes me in his arms, gives me a hug. I don't even know how to react because I'm not a hugger inside. And now I'm a big crybaby. But and he cooks me a steak, and they welcome me, and I get this love, not just from the men inside the program, but the community. I get involved in they call Beyond the Bars, where you come learn about Alongside Ministries. And I tell this guy how I like to run inside prison and walk the track, but since I've been out, I haven't had a chance to get a pair of shoes. The guy prays with me and hands me his shoes right off his feet at Alongside, a volunteer who's thinking about being a mentor. And these are the things, that's like day 4 being out.
Wow.
So the love that's being poured out. I'm out about 3 months, and the job, which I get to tell you in episode 4, which is very exciting. So inside, when you're in a low custody yard, which I was told I'd never get to, and with about 4 years left, I made it to a minimum custody yard, and you get the better jobs. And one of the jobs is they call ACI, which means you can go off the prison property for your 12-hour days, and you work at a regular place of business, and you learn their skill set, and then you get back on the bus, and you go back. And to do this, an 8-hour day is about 12 hours gone, trying to get off the prison yard and get back in, strip shirts,
security issues.
Oh, it's a nightmare. But it's so worth it because you're making $3 an hour.
Instead of 35 cents.
Instead of 35 cents. And of that $3 an hour, 2 of it goes on your, what they call the retention fund, so you can't touch it. So I managed to save $7,000
Wow.
The day I was released. So I got to work at this place. I didn't know anything about driving a forklift or how to build a trailer or what a socket wrench was. I'm a car guy. Give me a 10 key and a Sharpie, or a spatula and a pan, and I'm your guy. But I'm in a metal fabrication shop. So I try to find something I'm good at. Well, I was a porter in the yard, so I start cleaning and cutting wood and learn how to drive a forklift. And I'm doing this portering job and cleaning toilets and break rooms and coffee jugs and metal. And it's like, hey, it's your talent might get you in the door, but your character keeps you. And they really liked my character, and they see that Jesus enlightened me. And they said, we really like you. You need to find a different career because we like to hire you when you get out. What did you do when you get out? So I said, well, I was really good in, marketing and merchandising and inventory because I was in the car business. So I started doing their inventory. Today, right now, I do all the ordering for 2 multi-million-dollar corporate companies that make trailers. Nothing gets paid for unless I sign for it. And I do all their inventory. I've got a staff underneath me, and I'm in this role because God put me there. Nothing I'd done. But when the day I got out, I got a job, and I've been there for 3.5 years. And I'm making a very nice living, and it's an honest living. I don't have to lie and cheat and connive people to sell something. I sell a little bit of parts, but the most, it's just a wonderful environment. I got 2 bosses that have the heart, huge heart for the inmate. And I work with a lot of other ex-felons that also work there through the inmate program. So that being said, I have a job today from prison, a great job from the prison. I'm out 3 months and I'm on work traveling and training to go into a seminar. And now when I got out of prison, the first bad decision I made is I decided to call my ex-wife, because that's what guys do. Has been locked up for 9 years. Because did I mention she was pretty? I think I did. So I text her, and she answers me with questions like yes, no, picture the boy. Okay, I'm done with you. I'm blocking you. You annoy me. I'm like, oh, how do you know how to handle that? I don't even know how to block. I barely know how to use the dang phone. So she blocks me. Tell my mentor about it. He says, bad decision. You don't make any decision without talking to me first. You need to be accountable for everything. Right. Yes, sir. So 3 months out, I get a text. I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm in a hotel room by myself, sober for the first time ever, overwhelmed with what the Lord's doing with me, and I get a text, and it says, you're different. What's going on with you? I see you praying with homeless people and going to church and having these men with you. What's going on? It's Brenda, your ex-wife. Yeah. And I said, this is an easy question. Jesus, do you want some? And I said, send. She says, I think I do. Can you tell me about Jesus? So for a month we text, and I got to share about the love of Christ and what he's done for me and the little bit that I told you here. And we go on a date. And my mentor says, no touching, no kissing, no hand-holding. Broke the law, broke it. That was all out the window within 5 minutes. We were, in each other's arms, and we went to a movie, and we had a wonderful time, but I'm in Alongside. And I'm not supposed to be dating. So this Holy Spirit has come upon me.
There's a reason for this, right?
Yeah.
For this protocol.
Yes. Because drugs and alcohol might be something, but it's the women and relationships that take down these men. Right. And here I am one of them. So I do what the opposite, Darren. I went to counsel. I went to the director, and I went to the executive director, which is Ken, who's also my pastor. And I said, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. This has happened. At this point, I've been on 2.5 dates, and we went to coffee, and we went 2 dates, and I'm breaking the rules. But I'm worried about being kicked out and being shunned upon and all the other things that's happened in my life. But instead, Ken embraces me. He says, I want to meet her, and I want to pastor you through this. Let me meet her. And Brenda says to him, how am I going to trust a man that's been a lie, cheat, and a thief all his life? And Ken says, well, that's easy. You just need a new set of eyes. And she, where am I going to get that from? And he hands her the Word of God. He says, right in here. And she gave her life to Christ that day.
Wow.
And she started coming to church with me. And we got married in June of 2019. So we'll be coming up on 2 years of marriage. Ken married us. And with that marriage has come restoration with these 3 sons. With these 3 sons, they've all had they have kids. So I have 5 grandkids. And I have these relationships that they look up to me not just as a grandfather, but an example of the Lord's light. And they see it. And my wife sees it. And now that my wife's given life to Christ, they see it in her. She had sober 3 years when I met her again. And I'm sober 9 years. And now she's sober 6, and I'm at 12. But she had a very slow sobering and a void with Jesus. And now to watch Jesus come into both of our lives and being part of the service and these commitments and alongside in this wonderful community of First Christian Church, which Alongside partners up with when you come out, My prayer for years was get a church that would accept me, because in the Catholic Church I didn't feel accepted. And when I was trying to do church sober last time, the guy was a liar. And you know, a lot of people don't go to church because they have a problem with the people. It's not the God, but that was their God, and I was the same way. But now I have a relationship, and it's different. And my wife, we have a relationship with the Lord, and He's the center of our life. Part of this, with Alongside, they put you on these retreats with other men. And I go on this retreat, and I'm looking forward to it. It's my second one. And 550 guys from 10 different churches across the valley. Wow. Loving. You get 500 guys praising Jesus to one guy strumming a guitar. Pretty powerful.
Awesome.
I'm all in.
I'm all in.
We talked about before, I'm all in. Whatever I do, I go all in. And they had this guy that does prophetic prayer. Or I can go take a nap. It's downtime. It's between 1 and 4 on a Saturday. You can do what you want. And my buddy signs me up for prophetic prayer, and I don't want to go. I said, I want to take a nap. No, you're coming. All right, whatever. So we go, and as I'm going in, this guy greets me. He says, hey, welcome. And he goes to shake my hand. As he's shaking my hand, he says to me, he says, there's a woman in your life. And I'm feeling pretty happy and proud. I'm like, yes, I'm seeing my ex-wife. It's being restored and renewed by the Lord. He says, no, this woman hates you. This one's blood. Do you have a daughter? I said, no, but I got a sister, and she can't stand me.
Wow.
He says, well, I'm here to tell you that she's going to tell you she loves you, and she's proud of you, probably by the next time I see you. And we haven't started to pray yet. That was at the handshake.
Wow.
It was amazing.
And what are you thinking when he says that?
Yeah, I knew I served a big God. But as I tell him, like when I do my testimony, if I wrote down the day I left prison my goals and dreams and aspirations, I would have fallen short for what God has done for me. By far, I didn't think I have a relationship with the kids. I've never prayed for Brendan one day. I either thought about it in a lustful way or a hateful way. When I got arrested by the marshals, she's the one that called and told me where I'm at, because I made a phone call thinking I'm pretty slick. Maybe I should go see her one more time before I do go away. So I'm getting that one little, for lack of a better term, booty call, making that call, and she just hooked me. Oh yeah, I'll come get you. It's good to hear from you. Everything a guy wants to hear when he's on the run. She's ready to hide me out, and what she's doing, she's on the other line calling the marshals. So she's afraid of me, scared I was going to come back for revenge. So I never prayed for her. I told horrible stories about her. You know, with the other guys in the prison, you get caught up in those circles. So this is how I know God's doing what God does. I didn't pray for her once. I didn't expect a relationship with these children. I definitely didn't know I had these wonderful grandkids, which is my favorite role of everything. Brother, friend, husband, grandpa, numero uno. So, then my brother says, listen, when we go to family functions and Bridget's there, you know, you're going to step aside and come later or go earlier. When we do our camp outs, you know, we'll figure it out. I'm like, listen, I serve a big God. He said, we serve a big family too, and you need to keep it in check. I said, I got you. Then I meet this guy. Then my sister and I, we have a meeting the day before Thanksgiving, and she lets it out. She lets that venom that she's been carrying out.
She's venting on you.
Yeah, and my oldest sister comes as her counsel, and I bring my brother Randy as my counsel. And we have a table discussion.
And by the way, just a little side note, Randy's a gem.
Oh
my gosh, this guy, the more I hear you talk about him on and off the camera, it's just...
He's my best friend.
He's a great guy.
So we had this discussion the next day's Thanksgiving, and my sister hugs me, and I told her I love her, and she said she loved me.
Wow. Were you stunned? Just stunned.
Flabbergasted. Amazed. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, what has happened. We're not buds, and we're not pals, we're not hanging out, we're not going to dinner, but we have love and respect for one another. We can go to a family function in the room together without that tension. I can give her a hug and say, how you been? It's amazing. And at my wedding, she was there for my wedding, and she said she was proud of me. Everything that guy said to me 9 months ago, who I've seen twice since, and it happened. Who thought a perfect stranger that I never met?
And that's the one relationship you thought was not
that was the one that, if there was one out there that I didn't expect ever to even have a conversation, it was her.
So, in conclusion to that story, especially, yes, there are a lot of there's burned bridges, torched, relationships completely down the toilet, and now God has just rescued and reconciled all this and actually,
there's so
against
much.
the big picture, a small amount of time.
3.5 years, yes, a small amount of time. He keeps doing what he does. I can go on and on until what God has done, and it just doesn't. It's overwhelming.
Well, I just want to encourage everyone here. Listen, if you have broken relationships because of the stuff you've been into, you're the one you pick. You now own it. You have the onus on you. You get it. You're convicted to do it. God wants to fix relationships, especially with family, blood. That's a big issue. Your exes, your children, especially guys with their kids, especially long-termers in prison. If you can reestablish that, God can fix anything. Listen, as many of you know, I am the son of an inmate, and it took a long time for my dad and I to get it together so we could not feel bad about our relationship. He could do the same thing for you. He's too big for you to make it, so because your problem looks big, but it's really not that big. Mm-mm. And when he gets involved, it gets really miniaturized. I want to thank you, dear, for your testimony, bro. It's just awesome. We should do a whole story with guys like Darren on just fellowship inside, just behind bars. Bible Behind Bars would be a great show. We should just do it because I am so privileged to go in the last 16 years to these different facilities and see what God can do. Thank you again for sharing your story. It was awesome. Well, listen, if you say, hey, Steve, I want a piece of that action. I want to join a team where people are following the Lord and really putting their heart on the line. Alongside Ministries could be your call. I don't know. You just need to sit down and meet with some of the brothers and sisters here. And I exhort you to go out to their website, asmaz.com. Check out their mentoring program. Some of the testimonies, Darren's is on there and films, and a lot of people have shared on that. And check out their weekly meetings. You can go ahead and go to their special events. They're always doing something, aren't they? They're always involved in something going on here. So
plenty to do.
So if you're saying, hey, I'm thirsty for what you guys are talking about, I got an appetite for the Lord, this could be your place, because I haven't found too many places that have post-prison ministry where people are getting the transitional help that they need. And this is a great place, Alongside Ministry. So again, just hop out to their website, asmaz.com. And remember, until next time, I'm Steve Savant. No one's outside the reach of God. No, not one.